Well, hello everybody. I'm going to give it that minute to let people log on. There's a lot to go through on this particular long weekend. It's important to talk about recent events, geopolitics. We've got Russia versus Canada in a big way. We got USA versus UK coming very, very shortly. And it's funny, this weekend of all weekend, Memorial Day versus Queen Victoria Day, the major difference. And finally everybody, things are coming to a head. So we start with this long weekend, Queen Victoria Day and Memorial Day, two very different holidays in the same weekend. Transformation the USA did a long time ago in history, way back in the 50s, as they transformed post-World War II, and UK did not, at least not after 1952. We watch USA working with Russia, China, UK, and France, at least while King George VI was alive, to amend the holiday to throw away colonial things. Queen Victoria Day is nothing to really celebrate. It's actually disgusting, to say the least. It's all part of the old world order. Canada still celebrates it, which brings us into housing crisis, folks. Housing crisis. UK off the charts, housing crisis. The bubble ready to explode. Implode's probably the better word. This has happened in Canada in history many times, all from following the foreign narrative of the filthy royal family. We said we were done with it. Everybody talks about Westminster. We see 1952, upon the death of King George, a transition where all of a sudden Canada isn't operating independent of the crown. And from that day forward, the parties begin to go back to it, collecting much of the thieving, raping, pillaging, and plundering ideas of the old world run by largely Great Britain. That is the constitutional design of Canada, 1867. It's never been removed. This is the worst weekend in history to celebrate, because we're celebrating a time of class structure. And that time is now. It's right upon us. It's even on the UK, as the royal family has been pushing absolutely since 1993, but cementing in 2012 the Commonwealth Charter, which Canada signed on to lock, stock, and barrel, giving all of our geopolitics, i.e. international relations, to the UK, to specifically the narratives of the royal family. Whatever that UNSCP 5 power presents, whether it gets bound into law or not, Canada signs away wholeheartedly, giving away all of your sovereignty. Things like the WHO and other corrupted parts of the UN, not bound into international law, quite the opposite. Now, Joe Biden has made a deal with the devil, Justin Trudeau. We've watched him follow up on every area through his executive power that Justin Trudeau subscribes to through the UK. Joe Biden jumps in 2 feet forward. Now, the USA is not in a housing crisis, not even close. UK is off the charts. But what about Canada, folks? What about Canada and its narratives? It's Build Back Better long before Joe Biden, because they had 4 years of Donald Trump, who went for energy independence and we the people prosperity. Followed the Constitution in real economics. Whether you like the man or not, whether you like his breach of the Constitution over his claim of voter fraud, that was a privy of the states and the states alone. No federal government can take away that from each and every 50 state. So it's going back and it's getting reworked. It was a terrible decision by Donald Trump, but what of Joe Biden and what he's doing? Well, they haven't got to a housing crisis, but Canada does have a serious housing crisis. In fact, folks, by the numbers today, I have it all, went through it this morning. $1.9 trillion mortgage debt by you, only 38 million Canadians, which of the 38 million, very, very few of you, literally only a quarter of those 38 million hold mortgages. Mortgages that tally $1.9 trillion. Do the math, folks. Check out how many zeros are behind 38 million. Check out how many zeros are by literally almost $2 trillion. You'll find for your wages this year, right now, inflation in inflationary terms, cannot sustain the mortgages. It happened in the early 80s, at least in certain regions in Canada, across many primary sectors, Alberta being the worst. But what of Canada today? What are those areas? Well, of all places, the GTA, Liberal stronghold, #1 area in Canada, about to go through the 1980s Alberta mortgage crisis. That's a living fact. Beyond that, we get into British Columbia. They don't have the economics or the wages to sustain that housing bubble. We're going to watch it all crumble. Why is it like that? Well, all one has to do is look at the United Kingdom. All the narratives of the United Kingdom, whether that Conservative Party, their version of Liberal Party, and absolutely their Labour Party, they've all taken turns in this narrative and watched their people go down the toilet. It's not sustainable. People are traveling even farther for work. And the UK is an island country, as bad as that is. It's nowhere comparable to replicating that narrative in Canada over such a vast area. With the energy prices, the overwhelming costs that are not going to go down. In fact, they're going up, Canadians. You see, this little game that your politicians have played through the Commonwealth, in that Commonwealth Charter, and under Joe Biden, President currently of the United States of America, the dirty Democrats have absolutely destroyed any path forward for any energy independence. Worse than that, there is no path for any way to restore any of USA's market share. So global supply and value chains be damned. We're looking at less than 1.5 billion people who will be faithful in that market. We're about to lose China. China is going to switch from UK, USA to Russia. And folks, especially my beautiful Albertans, what I've talked about tirelessly forever and a day about Western Canadian Select, even Canadian oil, that are so low and deeply discounted. Iran sells for record more under tremendous sanctions than Canada's oil supplies, specifically Western Canadian Select. We don't pick on anybody, we don't hurt anybody. The reality is we have zero value in supply chains. In January of 2020, under world-bound IMO, International Maritime Organization, the rules were set: 2 million plus capacity tankers, deep sea ports, and absolutely deep port capacity pipelines. The government federally decided not a good idea, not gonna do it, to hell with the world. So I have a problem here. You talk about global economics, globalization, but that's not the case. We're not even a functioning country. And when it comes to exports of those primary resources, predominantly outside of the West, predominantly out of Alberta, globalization be damned. According to all parties, and anyone telling you otherwise is a filthy, fucking liar. Filthy liar. Harper betrayed us. Trudeau betrayed us. What they say and what they put into policy and practice are two very different things. Your politicians are responsible for your energy costs. Canada is the third largest holder of oil reserves quite capable of making 40 cents a litre gasoline prices, no more than 38 cents a litre diesel prices right here in Canada. Regardless of the world market, if we actually had value and supply chains, if we actually put that industry in the global market. But we don't. We don't. We trade 90% north and south. That means USA, literally our only value and supply chain. So we're deeply discounted. We have enough natural gas to power all, if not the entire world annually, no problem, right out of the greatest of Great Lakes natural gas, Alberta, Canada. But we don't even get past northern states. We barely touch on California and into other states, and we don't even go past Ontario. We don't. We're not allowed to. It's not a good idea to function as a country. Russia has banned all of the politicians. I'm probably the only Canadian now able to contact Russia or even step foot in any kind of political sense into the country of Russia. While they say in the media to all of you, that's symbolic. I'm going to tell you, South Africa went through that too. And the only person who could step foot in Russia or deal in a political spectrum in Russia was one Nelson Mandela. And now I too hold the same key. It's unbelievable. It's astronomical. And you know what? When you work hard, you stick to the program. This residential school genocide coming to a head in 1 week's time, folks. 1 week's time. 1 week's time. It's going to come out explosive. And it won't be Justin Trudeau, Pierre Poilievre, Jagmeet Singh, or any other of your radical and lunatic politicians and all the rest who would pretend to be something else. They won't be going forward, but I will. And I will take the First Peoples on a most excellent journey, win, lose, or draw, on the highest stage in the entire world. And it won't be any of the mainstream parties who will be able to do a fucking thing about it. It's beautiful. It's hard work that is now paying off. And I thank everyone for staying with me on this most incredible journey, and for all those who put the time in, the energy in. It's going to be just phenomenal. Like I said, win, lose, or draw. We've changed the world, and we're going to change the world for Canadians forevermore and all the First Peoples. God bless everybody. Share this most explosive video. It's unbelievable. And just wait, because coming, whether they like it or not, USA and UK are going to be doing their dance too. And I believe that we, the people in the United States of America, are going to win. They always win. God bless. Hold the faith. It all works out. Bye now.